Did you do all of this?" Nora shouted at her husband. There was a mixture of anger and helplessness in her voice, but the man standing before her remained silent and stone-like. Nora's unborn child, 8 months along, might have been affected by this argument, or perhaps it was about to become part of a much larger story. The village where Nora lived was strangely quiet. A place where life had always been simple was suddenly overtaken by an eerie silence and unease. People started saying that something extraordinary was about to happen. Nora, from the village's largest family, had always walked the straight path in life. But her husband, Ryan, was always involved in strange activities. People whispered that Ryan had committed sins that would bring misfortune to the entire village. Nora's dreams had taken a strange turn. She kept dreaming of a dog barking at her, warning her of some danger. These dreams grew darker with each passing day. One day, Nora's dream became reality. An unusual event unfolded at the center of the village. Nora was called by the elders, who instructed her to lie on the ground in an ancient ritual used to ward off impending misfortune. Nora, terrified, had no choice but to follow the elders' command. She was placed in an open grave. The villagers gathered around, but suddenly, a dog appeared, running toward Nora and barking loudly at her. The dog was well known in the village. It had always roamed near Nora's home, though no one had paid it much attention. But now, its behavior was making everyone uneasy. It barked at Ryan, as if about to reveal some secret. Ryan's forehead was covered in sweat. The villagers began to stare at him. The constant barking of the dog created a strange sense of fear. The elders, who usually knew everything, were now silent. Nora's eyes were closed, but her heart raced. She felt something was about to happen. Suddenly, the dog began to dig at the ground, clawing at the edge of the grave. The villagers were stunned. A man, Ryan's close friend, tried to grab the dog, but it growled and pushed him back. As the dog dug further, a small piece of cloth appeared. Upon seeing the cloth, Ryan's face turned pale. One of the elders picked it up and pulled out a letter hidden inside. The words on the letter made the elder's hands tremble. "This letter tells the story of Ryan's sins," the elder said, his voice shaking. "He stole from the village's treasure and lied to cover up his wrongdoings." The village was in an uproar. Nora, who had been silent up until now, suddenly screamed in pain. Her labor had intensified, and the child was nearly ready to be born. The dog continued to bark, as if urging that this should end quickly. Ryan tried to flee, but the villagers caught him. Nora was pulled from the grave and taken to a safe place. The women of the village cared for her. A few hours later, Nora gave birth to a healthy baby. The dog, which had always been nearby, lay quietly at her feet, as if it had fulfilled its purpose. Ryan was punished according to the village's customs. Nora began a new life with her child. The dog stayed with them, a guardian in their midst. From that day on, the villagers learned a lesson: never ignore the language of animals. Nora's dog became their miracle, and it was remembered as the hero of the village.